This is a conversation I'm really excited about because I met this guy, and Bose is like a fantastic conversation as far as I'm concerned. The interesting part is he is actually a person that was born in the US. He was born in Washington, weren't you, Bobby?
That's right.
And he was educated entirely in the US, and he chose to come down to India with his wife. And they've been in India for the last 6 years, and he has actually been a part of a couple of startups, right? And I think it's fantastic. He's also a Harvard MBA, so obviously blue chip and all that good stuff. So it's going to be quite exciting for me to get to the questions, Bobby. So first, why did you come down to India, and what was the driving force behind that?
So, Rajiv, the story starts in San Francisco. My wife and I both graduated from business school in 2000. And that was the height of the dot-com boom.
Time out, 1 second. If you don't mind leaning a little bit forward, so I'm a little worried about this. Just continue again. Start again. That's it.
So our story starts in San Francisco around 2000. That was the height of the dot-com boom. My wife and I were both classmates at Harvard, and we moved out there, and I joined a software company called Systems. Around 2004, 2005, I was getting to do something entrepreneurial, and I looked around the Bay Area and saw some great startups. But I found that by that time, the startup culture and the companies there were very micro-focused. So the hot companies were some subsegment of some subset. And one night, my wife and I were having dinner in front of the TV on microwave dinner food, and we were sitting and chatting, and we saw. This has now become a little urban legend to go when we tell our story. But we saw Tom Friedman come on, and he did a little expose on
the world is flat.
The world is flat. Of course, that was right around when that happened. On these two guys from New York who, non-Indians, had moved to Chennai and started a company called Office Habit. And then it hit us that, I was telling you, I'm Indian, I'm in software. What better advantages do I have? Why would I be in San Francisco? When even then, the potential of India was pretty evident even then. So my wife and I said, what's the harm? Why do it in San Francisco? Let's go to India. If you could be in San Francisco in 1985, and you could be in that time zone when Steve Jobs and Hewlett Packard and all these companies were starting, why would you not go back then? Why would you want to be there in 2000? And I think we are in a time in India where we're at that stage. And I think in the next 15 to 20 years, people will look back at this time in Bangalore and say, wow, these companies were all born then.
Fantastic.
And so we said, let's do it. What's the worst that can happen? We packed 4 suitcases. We took all our college furniture, and the off case that we had to get back on a plane, we would leave all the furniture here. We get our suitcases and come back. And it's been an amazing ride since then. I think we haven't been disappointed. And that's what really drove us to come here, with the opportunity in India. And in the last 6 years, I've seen Bangalore change an immense amount. And I've done one startup, cutting edge in my opinion, but we might have been a little too early, and now this is my second startup in the mobile space. And I think I've seen Bangalore and India catch up to that point, so I think India's really at that inflection point where amazing companies and amazing things will happen.
Fantastic. Which brings me straight to the second question. What do you actually do? What are the kind of things you're working on right now?
So my background is, I was a mechanical engineer to begin with, but I made the transition to software back in 2000. I've really focused on the mobile space. I've been very fascinated about mobile commerce and mobile payments. So when I first joined Siebel, I was running our telecom product line, and that was my first foray into what was happening in the telco world. I actually moved to India to lead our telco business and sales in Asia. But my first startup was in mobile commerce. It was a company called MGPay, one of the early VC-funded companies here, where we essentially created a mall in the mobile. So you could take a basic handset, and we could facilitate any of the e-commerce transactions that you would normally need a PC to do, and we could do it on the mobile phone. And that company's still going strong. I was there pre-launch, and left after two and a half years. We raised our Series B funding. NGPay now has over 1 million people who downloaded the application off their handsets. Over 200 merchants who you can buy products and services from. So I'm very proud of that company.
Fantastic.
So that was my first startup in the mobile commerce space. And now I'm actually launching a new company focused specifically on mobile payments. We want to make the mobile phone into a universal point of sale and point of service. And we think there's a huge amount of disruption that can happen. If you look at India, Southeast Asia, an amazing amount of transactions are cash. And in fact, there's a huge unbanked set of people who really would benefit from just what electronic transactions could do. So, you know, there's been a huge disruption in the U.S. Obviously, companies in that space have done phenomenally well over the last year. We think there's even bigger opportunity here.
Fantastic, fantastic. And guys, I think that's a really sexy story. Right now on the screen you'll be seeing how you can reach Bobby. You can obviously reach him and who knows, he might share a cup of coffee with you. So thank you very much, Bobby. Really great talking to you.
Thank you very much, Shashi.
Absolutely.